Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, in the newest Blueberry video, we will be going over your games. That's right, I asked my viewers to send me their Logbait games so I could go over them and give them some tips, because usually I'm only going over my gameplay, and sometimes it's easier to get some feedback on your own gameplay because everyone's at a different level, everyone plays with different decks, so sometimes it can help to get some personalized tips, and I feel like not many people do this. And if you guys want to be a part of videos like this in the future, join the Discord link down below, because that is where you had to be in order to participate in this video. So, hopping into the first match here, we have Swars on our side versus Zayren, it looks like, and he's playing against Dagger Duchess. Normally against Dagger Duchess, Logbait is obviously not the best, because when you go for Goblin Barrels, there's really, they can just completely ignore it and take 2 hits, or they can do something like Zap, E-Spirit, really cheap, and take basically 0 hits. So Dagger Duchess is really good against Logbait. Looks like our opponent goes with a really aggressive Mega Knight here. He probably didn't have to go for a Mega Knight. Usually against Dagger Duchess, how you guys want to play is you want to play super defensively, and then at the end, take him out with like Rocket Cycle or something. But in this case, obviously with a spammy deck, you're going to want to go ahead and start spamming them out. This is obviously the triple spirit deck that Riley came up with at the end of a few seasons ago. So this will be quite interesting. Usually against Mega Knight spam decks, it's going to be pretty spammy, so you got to be ready for their spam cards. In this case, have your Log at the ready. If they go Skeleton Barrel, have your Dark Goblin at the ready. And it looks like Swars does have his Dark Goblin. There is the Dark Goblin. He probably has to go for a Spirit as well here. Yeah, nice. And if they have Bats, you obviously have to have a Spirit at the ready for the Bats. Okay, really aggressive Evo Barrel, which is good. I would recommend, even though the Spirit isn't going to get to the tower, make sure the Fire Spirit is tanking for the barrel on the left, because technically the barrel on the left would have gotten more damage if the Fire Spirit had tanked, I believe. It would have gotten a few more shots. Really good protection of the Evo Dark Goblin here, and distraction of the Mega Knight. You got to be really careful with the Mega Knights and make sure you're distracting it and have a Dark Goblin or Cannon DPSing it down as well, because otherwise it'll be tanking for too long and he'll be able to get too many Swarm cards down. Good Fire Spirit, because the Cannoneer one-shots the Dark Goblins, which are quite nice. I think it's also quite nice that the opponent has Dark Goblin instead of the Inferno Dragon, because Inferno Dragon can be annoying sometimes because it's not easy to be taken care of. Dark Goblin can simply just be logged away. Good job going aggressive. You got to be careful when they go Mega Knight the back, because if they try to go Mega Knight the back, they're going to get a really big push if you don't try to punish them or make them defend. So whenever they go Mega Knight the back, you probably want to spam the bridge a bit on the opposite lane just to make them spend some cards so they don't have a huge push. Not the best Evo Mega Knight, because now the right side is going to get some more damage. Again, I probably would have gone for the Fire Spirit to tank for the barrel. Would have gotten slightly more damage, but that's okay. Good King Tower activation. If you guys didn't know how to activate King against the Mega Knight, you can obviously do one card basically in the middle to get it to jump to the middle, and then one card right in front of your King Tower. Really good barrel. Forces out the Dark Goblin, and you still get a shot there. And yeah, playing very well so far. He's got to be careful of him going Mega Knight the back again, but really good Goblin Gang, just going aggressive. Every time he forces out the Mega Knight at the bridge, it's really good for him, because there's no way for his opponent to build up a really good big push. And obviously, if you start to get really low on Elixir with this deck, if you're against a spammy deck, it doesn't matter as much, because you have Spirits. So if they just are spamming Spear Goblins, Goblin Gang, Skeleton Barrel, you're always going to get back to another Spirit before you're gonna have enough elixir for another Spirit. So really good job just going super aggressive here, because he went Mega Knight the back and he needed to attack, so he couldn't get a huge push. And here already he has 2 Mega Knights on the field, which is always a bit sketchy, and the opponent is going to get some nice damage on the left here with the Spear Goblins. Really good damage, actually, almost 1,000 damage, and some damage on the right. That's why you can't let them get too aggressive with Mega Knights in the back. But the video ends here. I assume he won. Alright guys, we're in the next game here with QT der Magia, if I said that right, against Vegeta. Looks like we have Goblin Barrel first play against Elixir Golem, and this is going to be a Cannoneer deck as well, but it's not going to be the triple Spirit cycle. It's going to be the quick cycle with the Evo Dark Goblin, which I do quite like. It is kind of fun to play if you guys are looking for a fun Logbait deck to play. This is probably the one you're going to want to use. You can cycle cannons pretty quickly. You always got the Evo Dark Goblins, and it's just a really quick cycle overall. You always want to be mindful of cycling to Knight for Skeleton King. Because, okay, I think you misplaced the log there. Because Skeleton King can be quite annoying, especially with Cannoneer. So having Knight for it is really nice. Usually you want to try to cycle 2 Knights, 1 Knight. If they go like Skeleton King the back, you want to go Knight the back in the same lane of the Skeleton King, and then cycle back to another one to tank for their support troops behind, like their Elixir Golem. Really nice Skeletons kiting the bats. He obviously could have gone for an Ice Spirit as well, but I feel like having an Ice Spirit on defense is better than Skeletons. Good Princess. In that case, I probably would have hovered my Ice Spirit at the bridge, because against Skeletons, you can hover your Ice Spirit, and if you react fast enough, you can actually protect the Princess. Same concept with the log. Obviously, the log is a bit easier. Okay, interesting cannon. I probably would have gone more on the aggressive side. Gone Dark Goblin to snipe down the cannon. Dark Goblin wouldn't have gotten hit by the cannon, and it would have cycled Evo Dark Goblin, but defensive cannon is fine. Really bad Elixir Golem by the opponent, knowing that he already had the cannon down. He should have just gone Elixir Golem in the back and set up for a bigger push. But looks like the opponent gave him a free Elixir Golem here. So nice defense. Really bad arrows, because now you can go Princess the Bridge opposite lane because he's low on Elixir. Again, here I'd have Log at the ready, because if he had Log at the ready there, the Princess would have gotten like at least 2 or 3 more shots, because as you saw, he went bats at 0 Elixir there. I probably would have tried to make sure that the Ice Spirit got in front of the barrel there, but it's okay. He's still basically going to take both tower, or the left side tower here, and get some nice damage on the right. Okay, interesting play by the opponent. I don't know why he's not going in for big Elixir Golem pushes. That's really what you got to do in these matchups. You just have to go for huge Elixir Golem pushes that they can't stop. Really interesting Elixir Golem. I don't know why he keeps going for them in the middle. Bad Evo Skellies as well. And wow, that's just going to be a completely dead push. He also wasted the arrows. Really bad Rage. Not going to kill the Dark Goblin, and not even hitting the Elixir Golem. Good barrel, pressuring the tower. Basically takes it, all he needs is a log. And there we go. I'll see you guys in the next match. Alright guys, we're in the next game here with Sebastian. Looks like he is going to be playing Hypno's Logbait deck against Royal Hogs Archer Queen. Normally, against Royal Hogs Archer Queen, it can be quite a hard matchup, because they have Log, Delivery, and Earthquake. Triple small spell, super quick cycle. It's really hard to break through if they play perfectly. However, looks like we're off to a good start here with the Princess the Bridge. And in this matchup, you always want to get as many Princess the Bridge shots as possible, because the only way to win is by that small chip damage. So Princess the Bridge there was really good, as long as you know you can defend. If you want Princess the Bridge at like no Elixir, then the opponent could have just gone in Royal Hog's opposite lane and then defended with Skeletons, and it would have been really bad. You gotta make sure you're defending the Royal Hogs as well as possible, because if you take too much damage in this matchup, you've kind of lost. And really bad Logbait the opponent there. Whenever you guys are playing against Royal Hogs, you want to try to trick them out with the barrels as much as possible, because it's one of your only ways to get damage. So if they have Log, put it in the back. If they have Delivery, if you put it 2 tiles in front, they're most likely to mess it up, because they'll probably play it too fast, and then it'll miss the 2 goblins in the front. Alright, so that was a good Princess at the bridge, because again, he did get a shot. It doesn't matter, it did force out the Delivery, so it was a 3-for-3 trade, but you got the Princess shot, obviously. Good Valkyrie cycled into the lane of the Archer Queen. And it was perfect timing as well, because the tower is targeting it. Really bad Hogs, because the Valkyrie walked right into it and shot the Archer Queen as well. So now the Archer Queen is a bit lower. And good barrel pressuring at the same time as well. With Hypno's deck, you obviously want to be super aggressive, no matter what matchup you're playing. But especially this one, you want to keep your opponent on their toes and defending as much as possible without going in for, what do you call it, any Hogs. Really interesting delivery by the opponent. Seemed to work out because Sebastian went for wall breakers, but I don't think I'd ever go for a delivery the bridge, especially when I only have 5 elixir. It's not worth predicting the princess, because it's just a waste of 3 elixir. Really good pressure from Sebastian here, because he didn't have log or delivery in cycle. I would have gone with an earthquake on defense if I were the opponent. And by the way, guys, whenever they don't have log or delivery in cycle, if you go for a gang the bridge, they're probably going to have to earthquake on defense, which is really good for you, because forcing out their EQ on defense, it's a lot harder for them to break through with their Hogs push, obviously. Okay. Not the best push by the opponent here. He completely let the wall breakers take the tower. And now, once you guys got the tower, it's pretty easy to defend and at least keep your tower. It's normally really hard to keep up with their spam of Royal Hogs and Earthquake cycle on your tower, but once they give up the tower, you basically won the game. It's impossible for them to take it, so I'll see you guys in the next match. Alright guys, we're in the next game here with Shio. It's basically Shio, but with a 3 instead of an E. It's kind of crazy, but what in the world is this deck, guys? Looks like it's going to be Triple Spirit, but we have Baby Dragon and Lumberjack. Wow, okay. This guy did not get the memo of Logbait, but I guess we do have the Triple Spirit, and it's super cycly-ish, so I'll let it slide for the video. By the way, guys, if you do want to be a part of these videos in the future, don't forget to join the Discord down below, because this is where the event happened. Everyone had to submit their recording in the Discord, and it's a really fun place, you know. We're going to do some cool recordings in the future, so you guys should definitely join. But looks like we have some really good wall breakers here from Shio, knowing the opponent was low on elixir, and whenever they don't have a cheap building or a cheap small spell, and you have a tank going down one side, going wall breakers behind, it's almost impossible for them to defend the wall breakers usually. Okay, looks like he's gonna go Spirit in the middle. Interesting Spirit. Okay, good Dark Goblin, because if you go Dark Goblin behind a Spirit, it's usually pretty good. And good Log as well, because that'll keep the Dark Goblin alive, and it'll get some damage on the tower. Normally, in like a matchup where they have Princess, for example, it may be better to go Spirits in the middle to try to predict it. However, in this matchup, I'd probably just fully go Spirits the bridge, because you're just putting the pressure on your opponent much quicker, and there's nothing really stopping you from going, or there's not much difference between going it at the bridge or in the middle, other than if you go at the bridge, it's more immediate. Probably could have logged there, because the Suspicious Bush is getting quite a bit of damage, but the opponent also used quite a bit of elixir here, so really good push by Shio. Tornado's not going to do anything, and wow, tower already falls with this interesting Lumberjack deck. Good knowledge that he had no elixir left. Obviously, when you're playing Logbait, you can't really make any mistakes, because then you can get punished pretty badly, but if your opponent makes a mistake, you can punish them pretty badly. So that's what happened in this case. He had no elixir. Lumberjack Wallbreakers does basically take the tower, and looks like the opponent gave up, so I will see you guys in the next match. Alright guys, we are in the final match here with Silva. If you guys don't know, Silva has his own YouTube channel that you guys should definitely go check out. He makes some really amazing content, so go check him out. But in the meantime, looks like we're going to be playing with almost classic bait, except we have Evo Dark Goblin in place of the Evo Knight, and Dark Goblin replacing the Rocket. I personally like the Rocket version better, but it is a bit harder to play with, as you have to know when to start Rocket cycling. Dark Goblin is better at being a bit more aggressive, so it looks like we're going to be up against Hog Rider. Some Hog Rider deck here. Good Inferno Tower, making sure to defend the Hog Rider, and that should also deal with the Hunter as well quite nicely. Yeah, 1 Elixir Inferno Tower is pretty underrated. Good Princess the Bridge, that'd get a shot, and after he just defended everything, he doesn't really have to worry. Okay, good King Tower activation here with the Ice Spirit. So far, so good. Interesting Goblin Gang. He probably could have gone Goblin Gang at the top left, because once the Firecracker shot already, it wasn't going to shoot fast enough to take out the Goblin Gang, but 1 Spear Goblin survived, so it didn't really matter. Okay, our opponent does have arrows here, so very interesting Dark Goblin. I mean, I know he's not down too much elixir, however, you usually don't want to go Dark Goblins the bridge, because there's always the risk of your opponent ignoring it and then you being down a lot of elixir, especially when you don't have a full elixir bar. If he had a full elixir bar, I could see it, but now he's already down 2 elixir from that trade, and I don't know how worth it that was. Okay, interesting Ice Spirit. He's already down. I wouldn't go Princess the Bridge when you're down like 4 elixir, which is what is happening in his case. Here comes the Hog Rider. I probably wouldn't have logged that, because I would have just gone Inferno Tower down low, because that would have ended up dealing with the Firecracker as well. Okay, really bad Knight. First of all, if you go for a Knight, he could have gone for it down a bit lower as well, so he didn't take all the damage from the Hunter, but now he's down like 5 elixir. If he didn't go for the Knight, he'd only be down 2 elixir, and he would have only taken 1 Firecracker shot. When you're playing Logbait, you gotta know when to take some damage and when not to. In this case, he's up 1300, so it would have been fine to take 1 Firecracker shot and not be down 5 elixir. So we'll see if he's able to defend. Luckily, the Evo Dark Goblin is probably going to help bail him out here. Good Goblin gang there, distracting everything, and good Log as well, kind of taking out the firecrackers. So looks like he wasn't punished for it too hard, but you always got to be careful when you spend that much elixir. Okay, he does have Inferno Tower here for the Hog Rider. Good barrel in the corner because the Evo P.E.K.K.A won't get to it in time, so we'll have to deal with it again. Really good chip damage there. Some nice hits. And what happens a lot of times is people feel like they need to be too aggressive with Logbait and get a lot of damage. However, that's not the case. You can play defensively and slowly get chip damage. Like, those few hits from the goblins were really good. He did not need... You don't need to, like... Or, not in this specific scenario, but I'm just saying in general. You don't need to, like, fully spam. Okay, I feel like he needed to log there instead of Dark Goblin, because if he logged, the P.E.K.K.A would have died before hitting the Inferno Tower and everything would have survived. I think that's the only mistake this game. Like I said, guys, if you make a mistake with Logbait, it's kind of over. He was basically playing perfectly, took 0 damage on his tower, took half of his tower, but he played Dark Goblin on defense instead of logging the P.E.K.K.A away, and that made sure the Inferno Tower died, and he lost his whole tower there. So basically one mistake, and it's kind of over for you. So looks like that will be a good game. Thank you to everyone who sent me the videos. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.